Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side of the coin and welcome to your post-match reaction. Fulham 1, Chelsea 2. What a sensational comeback. To be honest, out of nowhere, RKO out of nowhere, courtesy of Tyrique George. Tyrique George really changed the momentum as soon as he came through in the second half. Scored that goal, and it really changed the momentum of the game. And then obviously Pedro Neto with the winner. I have to say, look, this match overall, once again, it wasn't a perfect game at all. By no means, it wasn't a great performance by us. By no means, but look, the win was important. The win was important. It was a win against the odds. If we really want to be serious about the post-match analysis here, Fulham came out of the blocks flying to get themselves that early goal. And if anything, I actually thought the first half was better. The first half was better. Look, the lineup for us, ladies and gentlemen, I thought was quite a strong one. I didn't expect Reece James to start, and he started. And in fact, he probably didn't play that well. Rightly so, got hooked off at halftime. And in the first half, there were a few chances. As I said, I thought overall that if you look at both of the halves, you'd probably think first half was actually a better half for us, and it just didn't happen because our striker up front, Nicholas Jackson, when is this guy actually going to start producing for us? Because look, we got out of jail on this game. Can we keep getting out of jail all the time? I'm not sure. I don't know. It was good characteristic to see today being 1-0 down. It almost as if felt like Fulham, after being 1-0 up, I think got complacent. I really do think got complacent. Second half, up until Tyrique George scored that goal, we really didn't do much. I don't recall us doing a lot. We had the ball quite a bit, but I didn't recall us doing quite a lot. And it almost felt like Fulham was quite happy to keep defending and sort of preventing. They weren't really looking for that killer blow. And ultimately, it cost them. It cost them. They sat on that 1-0 goal and they thought that they could see it through. Much like what happened earlier on this season when we had that 1-0 lead against them, and then they ended up winning 2-1. And this was probably pretty much the same thing. So look, I want to talk about the positives first, right? I want to talk about the positives, and then we're going to harp on about Nicholas Jackson. I think there's a big conversation to be had about Nicholas Jackson. Overall, besides George and Pedro Neto, I can't really sit here and say others had a top game. I think they had patches where they were good, like Enzo Fernandez patches. It's a lovely assist he produced for Pedro Neto for the winner. But overall, I don't think Enzo Fernandez had a top game. Caicedo, ladies and gentlemen, misses out. The next two matches, picked up a yellow card. But as I said, let's start with the positive. The biggest positive is being 1-0 down and coming back when I didn't believe we could win this game. Looking at all the fixtures, I thought I'd be shocked if we actually get a win. Considering everything that's been going on with the team and what Enzo Maresca has been saying post-match towards the fans, and even today, to be honest, fans are calling him "you're a wanker," and that was at halftime. And post the full time, Enzo Maresca didn't acknowledge the away fans. He just went straight down the tunnel, and this fraction, it's not good. It's not good. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about it in detail. So positive is we were 1-0 down. We were resilient, and we came back to win 2-1 against all sorts of odds out there. And, we keep ourselves in the hunt for the Champions League spots. And can we build something from this? Can we now build something? Can we take this victory and really work it for us? Use this as a benchmark for the time being that, look, we can win games. If we just start being a little bit more consistent, we can win games. We have it in us. It's just inconsistencies kill us, man. And it shows, if we had just picked up the victory against Brentford and Ipswich, the matches before this scenario could have been very different. We're 5th now, and it's a mad battle between City, Aston Villa, Newcastle, us, Nottingham Forest. So, look, the win is fantastic. The win and the way we've won, the comeback is fantastic, but it doesn't end here. And I'm not going to jump up and down about it. The loss would have been detrimental. The loss would have killed us in this Champions League position fight. But the win doesn't mean that it's all done and dusted. We have to now focus on Everton, and we need to pick up the win against Everton. If we don't pick up the win against Everton, once again, we find ourselves in the mud. So positive, good comeback, being a 1-0 down. The team showed that it can show resilience. Can we continue in this manner? That is the question mark moving forward. Second positive, Tyrique George. This kid, I've said it all along this season, there's something about him. Have a look at all of my watch-alongs, have a look at any of my match reviews or previews or any topics that we've talked about. I've said Tyrique George, I think this player, this kid can be something, but we need to ensure that we develop him properly. Tyrique George today showed so much more than Nicholas Jackson. Nicholas Jackson up front has been abysmal. Tyrique George came on and he did everything what Nicholas Jackson does, but he was able to shoot and score a really important goal. Is Tyrique George now worth being a striker? I don't think so, but if Nicholas Jackson's not going to be firing and not going to be helping out, maybe Tyrique George deserves some minutes up front. But massive, massive kudos to Tyrique George and a huge positive, huge positive. That would be a massive morale booster, confidence booster for Tyrique George. Top young talent in making. Hopefully we do the right thing with him and hopefully we develop him properly. Second positive, Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto, he was relentless. Even in the first half, he was producing some really good opportunities and should have had an assist with one of the crosses he put through, zipped it through, and Nicholas Jackson once again not there. And then in the second half, his hard work paid off and he scored a goal. I'm glad he didn't do this celebration again because, let's be honest, overall, even Pedro Neto has been very, very underwhelming this season. But his hard work in this game paid off. Besides that, I don't think there's any other players that I can really single out and say, yeah, they've killed it. I think there's been players that have done bits and pieces well. But overall, I think those are the two that I really wanted to call out. Now, let's talk about some of the negative things that happened in this game. I think Reece James wasn't good. To be honest, he probably shouldn't have started off the back of his match that he played just a couple of days ago against Legia Warsaw, where we lost. Probably should have just come off the bench. But you can clearly see, the players that are not happy, players that are, doesn't seem to perform that well. Reece James possibly not happy. I don't know. He didn't have a good first half and he got hooked off. Maybe he got hooked off because of being managed as well, but he did not have a good first half. He got bundled over, got bullied. The ball was taken off him, and then eventually IOB ended up scoring. And that's when Fulham went 1-0 up. But we'll see what happens down the track. Hopefully he can be focused and ready to go against Everton. Negative number 2, Malo Gusto injured. Don't know if he's going to be out for a little bit, which means we need to find a solution as to what we want to do with Reece James when he's rested. Achapong maybe needs to come in. Madueke got hooked off. Madueke, I thought, once again, the only winger that wants to take their man on. But once again, just like with Madueke, that final third decision-making, that final third polish is just not there. And he got taken off and Sancho came on. It's not like Sancho did a lot either. Pedro Neto was definitely the best winger today. The other negative is Enzo Maresca. Enzo Maresca, look, I get it. You know, it's not nice when your own fans are calling you that W word. But I don't know if this constant playing this game with the fans is the right thing to go about. I thought today, even though the fans were, you know, disgruntled towards Enzo Maresca at halftime, at full time you won, Enzo Maresca, and you're absolutely jubilant, you're excited, you're happy. It would be good if you walked up to the away fans, knowing that they've, you know, sort of jeered you off at halftime, said the W word to you. With that, the fact that you won, it would have been far more, you know, beneficial, and you would have looked big at, you know, full time, walking up to the away fan, you know, walking up to the Chelsea fans and you know, clapping and saying, "Hey, you were booing me, and we won ultimately." But he didn't do that. He walked straight down the tunnel. No acknowledgement of the away fans, and I don't know whether this game is healthy. I don't know if this game is healthy, because ultimately the fans win. If you are not connecting with the match-going fans, it's going to only make it very difficult for you. Cole Palmer, ladies and gentlemen, once again, another stinker, not good. Some of the shots are not good. Some of the passes are not good. He needs to snap out of whatever he's in at the moment. He needs to snap out of it. Badly needs to snap out of it. Nicholas Jackson, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a massive problem, man. We've got a massive problem with Nicholas Jackson. Huge problem with Nicholas Jackson. To a point where now we need to think, what do we do up front? What do we actually do up front? He was abysmal as a striker, absolutely abysmal. So many gilt-edged chances he's missed, and even his passing was astray. He was getting bullied. Just not good enough. Just not good enough. So look, ladies and gentlemen, overall, very, very happy the fact that we got the 3 points. A match that I did not expect us to get anything. I actually predicted a draw. For us to get a win out of this, it's big. It is big. It is big. But we need to make sure we follow up with a victory against Everton as well, or else all of this stuff is just going to go down the drain. If we get that victory against Everton, then yes, this Champions League position battle will probably go down to the wire. But yeah, look, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts. Big up to Tariq George, big up to Pedro Neto, and we live to fight another day for this Champions League position. We need the Champions League. Badly, we need the Champions League. See if we can come out of the blocks and get a big victory against Everton. It's at Stamford Bridge, so let's see how the crowd reacts to Enzo Maresca. Let's see how Enzo Maresca reacts to the crowd. And we'll go from there. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you thought about this game. What are your positives? What are your negatives? Comment below. Smash up the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Till next time, take care. See ya.